Hi everyone, this is the Brosis Effect. I'm Nicole, this is my brother Michael, and today we're going to review some of the best roller coasters at Cedar Point Amusement Park.
Or best roller coasters ever.
Yes, Cedar Point is our favorite amusement park that we've been to. It has a ton of awesome high thrill rides, and we are going to review what we consider the best roller coasters. We're not going to really focus on any of the other rides or some of the slower ones. And at the end, we'll kind of give you our top three. We recently went to Cedar Point and Kings Island. So we did a couple days at Kings Island and then a couple at Cedar Point. Cedar Point is in Sandusky, Ohio, so it's northern and
Lake
it's
Erie
Peninsula.
Peninsula.
It's a peninsula in Lake Erie, so it's surrounded by water on three sides. It's like a big vacation destination. Hotels, beach, marina, restaurants. It's a whole deal. You could spend the whole week there. So let's just jump right into the first roller coaster. We're gonna start with a nice, easy family one. It's called the Gemini. So the Gemini is a wooden coaster. Now, although it might look boring, it's fun because there are two tracks with two coasters that go side by side and they're racing. So there's a blue and a red coaster, and you can sit across from someone you know in the other car
And mock them.
Yeah, you can like razz each
That's
other.
what we were doing.
And
We're
yell.
gonna beat you, we're gonna beat you, we're gonna beat you.
It gets really competitive, and then one of the coasters finishes first. So
Usually the red one.
it's a nice wooden coaster. I mean, there's no crazy stats. It's not super long, super fast, or super high. It's just fun. It's smooth.
It's different.
And it's different because the coaster is right next to you. You can literally touch the other person's hand, although I don't recommend it.
Although, I mean, I would definitely recommend, like she said before, if you have like a group of people, someone else, have them in the other coaster and just make fun of each other and compete against each other.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different perspective, and it makes it that much more fun.
So the next one is the Wicked Twister.
This ride launches you from 0 to 70 miles per hour in about 2 seconds. You then go up the whoop, and it twists you a little bit. Then you go down, accelerates you more. You go up higher. Then you keep going, and at the max height, you're about 200 feet in the air.
206.
206 feet in the air. See, I can memorize these stats.
72 miles per
See,
hour.
I memorize this stuff.
Feels
Nicole.
like
You
100,
doubted
it
me.
says. So you do go backwards and forwards, which is really cool.
But the launch is pretty intense, and I like it.
Cedar Point has a lot of launching stuff, which we like launching for sure. So overall, it's a very short track, just back and forth, but it's a different kind of feel. Not a lot of coasters take you backwards, so there's no inversions, but you do twist and go both directions. So next we have one of the new roller coasters called the Valraven.
This was an awesome ride. It is a dive coaster. In fact, if you know anything about Cedar Point, you will know that Cedar Point tries to break records with every single ride that they put out. So, the cool thing about this ride is it's the tallest, longest, and fastest dive coaster. It has a 90-degree descent angle, and the first drop hill is about 223. It is 223 feet up. That's how high it is. I don't know what the drop is. Probably close to that, 220 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
It basically hangs you over the edge. It stops you instead of a normal coaster going over it. It hangs you. And then you go, and then it just releases you, and you go straight down. You go through loops and stuff. Then you go up another lift hill. Then it does it again. And that one's about 150 or something feet. 131 feet.
Yep, so this one is really fun. It's smooth, fast, but we only got to ride it once.
The lines are really, really long for it because it's a brand new coaster.
And it was
And
busy.
when we were there, half the rides were always closed down, so it was a pain. We had some bad luck, but we got on it once.
It's another kind of stadium style where you're like sitting out. There's nothing really. So even if you don't get the front row, it still feels pretty open. Next we have one of my favorites, the Maverick. Maverick is a terra coaster, right?
A terra coaster means that it rides close to the ground basically, so it's going to be going pretty fast. Really close to the ground, never has
Leaves.
I think the tallest hill is 130 feet or something like that. But the cool thing about it is it's a 95-degree angle descent. So what that means is it's inverted. So it's steeper than straight down. It's steeper than 90 degrees.
So the hills aren't really the spectacle of this ride. It's the inversions and the twists and the G's that it pulls. And it has a launch in a black tunnel.
It's 105 feet up. It is, about 4,462 minutes, or not feet, 3 minutes duration.
They have a tunnel, a pitch black tunnel. You get launched 400 feet at 70 miles per hour.
And then you go immediately around the twists and turns, and you pull insane amount of G's. Not really that insane, but for roller coaster world, insane.
For example, I black out. So not fully where I'm like out, but my vision goes black, and it only happens when it's a lot of G's. So I know a roller coaster is intense.
Not be on a fighter jet.
When I black, my vision goes out, and this is one. But I really like this coaster. Between the launch, it does these half inversions where you think you're gonna go upside down, but it only takes you and it just whips you. There's cool terrain and water, and it's just awesome. Next, we're going to do the Rougarou. Is that how you say it?
Rougarou. Yeah, Rougarou.
Rougarou. It is the first floorless coaster at Cedar Point, meaning although you're sitting upright, you're not hanging. There's nothing beneath your feet.
It's kind of like a hanging roller coaster setup, but you're not hanging.
And it is steel. It has a drop of 137 feet at 60 miles per hour. And then you have a couple of loops. It's kind of feels like the Valraven setup, but it's not as good as the Valraven.
Oh no.
And don't ride it at night because we got pelted with bugs.
That was funny.
Because the roller coaster is set over like a swampy pond type thing, there are so many bugs. They were on our shirts, on our face. They got in my mouth. So only ride it in the daytime, but it is a really fun ride and often has a very short line. So.
And hang on one sec before you go. Hang on.
What am I hanging on to? You?
I got a picture of when we went on the Rougarou. You're not supposed to take pictures of that, but the person was like asleep.
So that is an embarrassing picture of us.
No, we purposely acted like I was like, hey, let's like do something funny. I mean, a lot of times we try to do stuff that's funny, but it'd be cool if all four of us, since we're all in the same seat on this, it's a row of four, let's all act like we're asleep. I think Nicole definitely had the best one. For some reason, I think I mistaked it with being
I was pretty realistic.
Somewhat like what a little kid thinks is dead when your tongue's sticking out.
So next we're gonna go over the Magnum XL 200.
So cool.
An oldie but a goodie, right?
Yes. The cool thing about this this ride, it's the first roller coaster ever to be over 200 feet high.
Starting the hyper coaster. Yeah.
It initiated the hyper coasters.
Wow.
So it's the first 200. It's about how fast? It's over 70 miles per hour. 72 miles per hour, 205 feet height, and it has a duration of 2 minutes 45 seconds. It was opened up in the 80s.
1989.
So it's a really cool ride. It's definitely, you can tell it's a little older, but it's still pretty smooth. I mean, on their hills at the very end, it really like throws you up into the harness. So I would highly recommend not having anything in your pocket.
It's really cool because it goes through tunnels and there's cool lights because it's like Millennium. So it's just fun. It's not super crazy thrilling, but it's got a lot of history.
It's a fast ride.
But when you compare it to some of the others,
compared to the other
we rode
Cedar
it
Point,
once because
you would have rode it twice if it didn't shut down. But
True. Next, we're going to do the other new roller coaster called the Steel Vengeance. Now, this is a hybrid. Explain what a hyper hybrid is.
so it's a hyper hybrid. Okay, I didn't even know. So yeah, it is over 200 feet tall. I think
205.
it's 205 feet tall, 90-degree angle of descent. So it's looking at it, it just looks like it's a wooden coaster, brand new. But a hybrid coaster basically is wooden base, but then it has metal tracks going on it, and it actually inverts. Very, very smooth, very cool, but it has the characteristics of a wooden coaster. You know, the turns. A wooden coaster feels different than a metal coaster, just how it takes the turns. It has that, but it has inversions, and the coolest thing about it is the tallest, fastest, and the longest hybrid coaster, and it also has the most 0G rolls and inversions. So it has a ton of inversions, and they purposely made it have the most 0G rolls out of any roller coaster in the world, so you can really feel that. You go around loops multiple times. We waited in line for this for over 2 hours. I did not like how the line was set up. I honestly thought it was kind of stupid. And they don't let you take. So they say on every ride you can use the fanny pack. We go there, you can't bring that on.
You can't bring anything. There's little pouches on the coaster for like a phone or glasses, but no bags, no purses, no wallets, no fanny packs are allowed.
There's like a metal detector.
Yeah,
they're
so
like,
they're checking to
and then
make
they
sure.
stamp your hand. I mean, like, why does that matter? Why do they have to stamp your hand? I mean, you can easily just be told to put your phone, if you have anything in your pockets, put it in the thing. Like, it's not that hard. It was worth it. It was probably one of my favorite roller coasters I've ever been on. So
yeah, really good.
Worth it. If you ever go there, long line, wait in at one time.
Next is the Gatekeeper, another one of my favorites. This is it breaks 7 world records.
And it opened up right when we went there first, 5 years ago when we went. It was when it was open.
2013. It's right at the entrance, so it's really cool. When you get to Cedar Point and walk through, the coaster is right above it. It frames the front of the park. It's a winged coaster, so the track is here and the coasters are hanging off the side. So when you're on it, you feel like you are suspended in air, and so when it whips you around, you feel it more because you get more, what's the word, torque? What am I looking for?
Yeah, more G's, you pull in.
Stats.
Centripetal force.
Yes. So stats. We've got 170 feet is the height, 67 miles per hour, and 2-minute duration.
A lot of G's. If you're like Nicole, you'll black out. Very fast, very fun. The lines were not too long for it. I was very surprised.
The lines are great.
I think it's just because they can put so many people on it and they split it up. So I really like how that's set up. It was a really fun coaster.
They're quick with loading on and off too, because the thing about Cedar Point is a lot of the newer coasters you can't bring backpacks on, but as long as it's like a fanny pack or something, you can, and so it makes the wait times quicker because they're not waiting for people to get their bag and put their bag away. So when you go to Cedar Point, you have to have a locker.
They rush you on and off. Yeah, but yeah, you do need a locker. So when you're going there, you make sure you get a locker or get a fanny pack. I'd highly recommend getting a fanny pack. Do not bring too much with you.
Let's do the Millennium Force.
It is actually the very first Giga coaster. So it's a Giga coaster is a coaster that's over 300 feet. So we've been on to 2 of them. The last one was last year was at Carowinds, and that was actually a little taller. Millennium Force is 310 feet. Fury 325 at Carowinds is 325 feet. Millennium Force is 93 miles per hour. Fury 325 is 95. Very similar. I still think I like Millennium Force more because it just maintains the speed. It's just so smooth, and it's probably my favorite metal coaster. It's so fast, so tall.
2-minute duration.
We went on it when it was night, which was sick.
Yep, so it gets fast. It is really cool at night. There's some nice curves. Is there a tunnel? I think.
Yeah, there is a tunnel.
There's a tunnel.
It's fast.
It's super fun. And the cool loading area for the coasters got cool music, and it's Millennium again, so it's very like high-tech, futuristic. So it's just overall a really cool coaster aesthetically and thrill-wise. So we really like it when it's open. And last but not least, we have the Top Thrill Dragster.
We've had bad luck with that. But yeah, to me, I mean, a lot of people disagree. A lot of people are afraid of this ride. But for me, this is my favorite ride. I'm an adrenaline junkie. This thing accelerates you from 0 to 120 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. Just letting you know, that's faster than any production car on the road can accelerate you. So yeah, it's very, very fast.
It's
and
intense.
You don't feel any acceleration like that unless you go to that, or you're in drag races, I guess, or in a fighter jet, something like that. But you pull some G's just from the acceleration. It is insane. I love it. Then you do proceed up to go over 400 feet, 420 feet. Then you go down 420 feet with a 270-degree twist.
Yeah.
And it's a 90-degree angle descent. And you go back up to 120 miles per hour, then it stops. It's only a 17-second long roller coaster, but it is worth it. It is worth an hour wait for it. And I would highly recommend doing it because you will not experience it many other places. And the cool thing about Top Thrill Dragster is it was originally, at its time when it first opened in 2003, it was the fastest and tallest roller coaster in the world. And it was the first strata coaster. And a strata coaster is a coaster that goes over 400 feet. So
we've got, you said Strata, Giga, and what was the other one? Hyper? So
yeah.
Hyper is over 200, Giga is over 300,
and Strata's over 400. There's only two in existence. Kingda Ka opened shortly after in 2005.
But it's not as smooth.
It is not as smooth. Actually, a lot of people think the Top Thrill is still better. It is a little taller than, it's about 455 feet tall. It's a little taller. It probably isn't really that noticeable at that height.
Yeah.
And it's about 8 miles per hour faster, but it's rough, I've heard. But when we were there at the park, unfortunately, the first day we got on it once. Then it closed down like the Millennium Force all day. Second day, we had the Millennium Force first because we were like, we need to get on that because we're afraid that's going to close down. We get in line for the Top Thrill. We're almost up. We wait there quite a bit. And then, after like if they say there's going to be a short delay, a little longer delay, oh, sorry, it's going to be 5 hours probably. You guys should enjoy our other coasters. We were very angry about that. We left. But it didn't open for the entire day. But we went on the Millennium Force at night, right before the park closed. It was like after close. It was a few minutes after close. And we saw people on it. So me and my friend Pedro, we just sprint over. And they're still like letting people on the coaster. The cool thing is we got very lucky because we're the third ones. We were on the third to last coaster because we were the only ones that didn't give a hard time about being told to go to the back of the coaster. We immediately just did it. And we reaped the benefit of that because when the ride finished, the last coaster was going, and they're like, we need more people on it. We got to go on right again.
So we rode twice in a row, pitch black, after close.
Night, you get to see all the lights everywhere. You're so high up. Just 2 times in a row. No one ever gets to just ride that ride 2 times in a row. And we were on the very last ride of the night, and it was really
awesome.
Cool.
Go ahead and rate your top 3 coasters at Cedar Point. It's hard.
Top Thrill Dragster, Millennium Force, and then Steel Vengeance. Easy.
See, for me, this is hard. So I'm going to go with my classics. So it's Top Thrill, Maverick, and then Gatekeeper.
The cool thing about Cedar Point is, like any other amusement park, they have like 1 to 3 really good rides. Cedar Point just has a ton of really good rides. It's like so hard to choose, and it's insane, and I love it, and it's
You're loving it
best
so much
part.
that you're shaking the camera. Alrighty. Well, Michael's dead now from his excitement. So those are our reviews of the Cedar Point roller coasters. If you have not been there, now that he's back to life, resurrected.
That was the dumbest
If you
thing
have
I've
not
ever done,
been there,
sorry.
you need to go. Cedar Point is the best park. If you love roller coasters and thrill, go. Even if you don't love roller coasters, go.
Because there's other things to do. And if you thought I was just super cringy, which I was, and just acting like just a complete idiot,
Give us a like.
yeah, give us a like and just please comment how just stupid of me that, like, it was just stupid. I'm just gonna look back and just be like, wow.
If you have been to Cedar Point, give us a comment for your favorite ride there. Let us know if you have any other video suggestions. We did do a cool montage of us at both Kings Island and Cedar Point, and we also have another video of us reviewing the coasters at Kings Island, which is another amusement park in Ohio. And if you like our kind of content, make sure to subscribe. Take us home. Take us home.
Goodbye.